Welcome back, you're here with Nate28 and this is Crossbeats Production. So I thought I'd do a different camera angle today. As you can see, just the top down view that I got going on. Now this is just a beat that I'm making. I thought I'd bring you guys along to show you what I do and just give you guys behind the scenes, I guess. And yeah, just have some fun with you guys and make this beat. So we'll see how it goes. I haven't really thought of anything really on the beat. I've just come up with some chords and starting to work on the drums. So you can kind of see my, I guess, this particular routing setup that I've got. Anyway, just to quickly explain it, I've got machine routed into Studio 1.3, where it's basically just as a VST plugin. It's not really any routing happening right now, so pretty much use it for my drums, and I'm just working away with that. So anyway, I'll just continue on with what I was doing. I thought I'd just bring you guys along and take you for the ride. So hopefully you enjoy this, and let's get to it. So kind of what I'm trying to work on at the moment is I've got the chord structure. I'll just turn the drums off so you can hear it. And I played out this chord structure, came up with another idea that I kind of was working on. But anyway, I played this chord structure so you can hear exactly what's going on. So that synth that I'm using is basically Prism. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. It's just something I just started with just to get the vibe, and it kind of sounded okay. But I'll probably flick through a different couple of VST plugins to get the right thing, and then keep that. The next thing I kind of do, basically, first off, I mean, there's no real way to start a beat. It's whatever you're feeling at the time, and that's what I go off. So you can start with drums, you can start with chords, you can start with whatever you want. Be it a sample or whatever it might be. So anyway, so I got the next thing there was my drums. So I kind of always usually load up a kit that I usually use. Well, I don't always use it, but this Brutus kit seems to have the right kind of stuff in it for trap. And that's one of the, I guess it came in a sample pack. I don't know exactly. Let me just check and see. I think it's in, yeah. So it's in the Golden Kingdom, the Brutus kit here. It's not all the Brutus kit though, so I switch out the drum, especially the kick. So that kick that I'm using is a separate kick out of something else. I just go into my samples here, so it's a kick 2-spec. If you have this instrument kit here within Machine, then you can go ahead and find that kick. It's just a great trap kick. It's got that real low end push, but it's not too bassy, whereas a kick like this, it's got a lot of 808 kind of type bass. Anyway, so let's just work with the drums. We'll see what we can figure out and just work away with this. Okay, so especially with drums, as you probably are aware, with making a beat, with any beat normally where there's drums involved, you want to have, well, most of the time the drums are the driving force of any beat when it's using drums, of course. But if it's acoustic and it doesn't have drums, whatever. So, but anyway, so with the beat, I basically try to, especially with my kick, I try to make it dynamic. So as you can see here, I was reducing the volume down to 82, and the second part of the kick up to leaving it at 100. So that way that it's got a bit of dynamics with the kick. So it's not like, you know, it's more like a low volume. You can hear it. So it's kind of like that trap kind of feel, and then the snare just stays, you know, kind of similar to the way it was the whole entire time. You can introduce like I've got here the closed hi-hats, and usually I'll try and do like maybe a triplet or something. I'll just divide it up and use the note repeat. So sometimes you can do it from 1/8 to 16ths or 1/28. But sometimes 1/64. I don't know if actually, how can I show you? I can't show you on my my machine pad here. Oh well, maybe next time I'll try and get another video where I have a separate camera, possibly for the machine side of it, so you can see what's going on the hardware, and that way it makes it easy for you. But anyway, let's get back to the beat making. So. So it's more or less just trying to get some rhythm into the, you know, the instruments within the drums, and try and just create different stuff, you know, like you don't always have to have the same kind of things going on. Yeah, that's the basics of it. So I'll just try and move this down a bit, see if I can get it to sound how I want it. Alright, maybe I'm just going to change this instrument. It's really starting to get on my nerves. Sometimes I'll just, like, as you can hear, like kind of just get a rhythm in my head and then try and work around that rhythm. And, you know, you just start to find stuff, and that's how you get creative with your beats. So see what we got with these. That's all from that. Oh man, I don't want to use a prism. Maybe I'll just get out of prism altogether. What else we got? Let's try some razor. I get some pads. If I could just put a cutoff on that to see if it's... There we go. Maybe a bit of reverb as well. Where is my reverb? I know it's here somewhere. There we go. Actually, I don't want to mess that up. Can I change that for some reverb? Nope. 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 I want to change the length as well. That's more like what we're after. Alright. Actually, before I go too far, change my sample rate up a bit, just so I don't get any of those good old clickety pops. I see what synced reverb sounds like. that's pretty cool. Maybe turn the volume down so I don't go deaf. Yeah. All right, so we've got kind of a rhythm going on. I think that probably would be somewhere like the chorus, probably. So sometimes, you can work around this a couple of different ways. So you can generally, make bars like this if you want. You can do that. Where is the feature? Arranger. There we are. So you can set up an arrange section here. So if you drop this to the next thing, it copies basically each section of the bars that you set up. So if you wanted to make, say, a beat, like I remember with Machine, right? So in Machine, let me just raise up Machine. In Machine, it usually works that kind of structure. So I used to use Machine primarily just to make beats, and actually I used Logic and Machine, but I tried to, hang on a second. I tried to stay in Machine some of the time just because I wanted to get used to using Machine, and in doing that I learned a lot of stuff about Machine that I probably wouldn't have otherwise learned if I didn't stick in Machine. And then I did the same thing with Logic, and 6 years later I kind of know both of those programs pretty well. Studio One is something that I've recently acquired in the last 6 months, I think. So if you've kind of learned a DAW before, Studio One isn't any different to any other DAW. It just has, I guess, different features that some others don't, or features that are tweaked or calibrated differently. For example, if you're using Logic for I guess a fact, you don't normally, you do have an arrangement window and arrangement sections there, but from my knowledge, I don't think you can just copy and paste them like that. I don't know, maybe you can. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments, obviously, as you all like to do. Anyway, so the reason why I'm saying it is if you're just a new Studio One user and you haven't used anything before, don't be afraid to try and mess around with it and stuff like that, and spend some time learning it, because it's definitely pretty cool. I really like it, and I think it adds a lot to especially hip hop producers and stuff like that. Also, there's this cool function within Studio One 3, which you can go down here and you can choose the note, the scale, that you're working in. So say, for example, in this particular beat, I'm using the scale of A sharp, and I'm using that as my scale. Now that's in the natural minor scale. So pretty much all of these keys, let me just expand it. So if you can see, these keys are all highlighted, so it tells you which keys are in that scale. So you pretty much can't go wrong as far as adding in notes to your beat. I just wanted to, I guess, show you that. Now there's another function as well within Studio One. For the life of me, I can't remember where it is. Oh wait, there it is. Okay. So see here, you can see the ghost notes. So basically, if you click on this section here, that's that little tabby thing there, and this little thing shows you each key that you've got. So each instrument you got. So in the contact section, I've got these notes. They're spread across the same notes as the previous contact version, but it's showing you in this that I've got ghost notes. So that's something handy if you want to build a beat out of the same chord and key structure and the scale. You can see where your other notes are in that mix there. So anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a quick show of that. So anyway, let's get into this beat a bit further, and I'm not going to make the whole thing about it, because I'm pretty sure this will be going on for like hours on end if I finally get this beat made and do that stuff. But I just wanted to kind of bring you along and give you an idea of what you can do yourself, and kind of go about that. So the next thing I'd normally do in this sense is I'd probably start to either one of two things. I could build my drums within Machine and just keep copying the pad across, which I might just do to show you how I do that. So you can duplicate, you can't see what I'm doing right now, but you can duplicate your scenes. So say, for example, I've got this scene here, and I want to go there and go to the scene and duplicate it. I can keep duplicating the scene like so, and I could line it up with the same amount of bars. So say I've got 8 bars here. That's an 8-bar section there, another 8-bar section there, and say I drag this across again, I've got another 8 bar section, and then I drag it again. So four sets of 8 bars. As you can see in here in Machine, I've got the same amount of bars as well. But that's one way of working if you're using Machine and Studio One together. Say you're not doing that and you're working with the bass instruments that are in here, not bass, but the kicks and stuff like that. Okay, because this is my setup, so I can't really go into depth too much about what I would not do. But if I was going to maybe use battery or something like that, you could load a thing of battery into your setup. And just say, for example, I get a kit loaded, maybe an 808 kit, and I've got all my stuff there. You could play out your instrument into MIDI. So you just open up a new MIDI section, and then you just put in obviously the MIDI to create your kick, snare, whatever you want to do. So that's one way of doing it. And there's obviously the other way, which is just get rid of that. I might actually use that later. Whoa, duplicate. No, get rid of it. So then there's the other thing is, get your loops, and you could get, where's my drums? Whoa, drums. Here we go. Trap. Alright, so I've got my kit here, and I like the sound of these. Alright, so say I got a kick, you just grab your kick and you drop it in there, and that's not a kick, that's actually drums, I think. Yeah, it is. So it's full set of 808. Yeah, so anyway, you can drop your stuff in there, you can actually expand it so you can stretch it out to the time sequence of your actual project. Which, anyway, not going to bother with this. So that's another way of doing it. Just wanted to show you guys quickly if you haven't seen ways of building your drums into Studio One. But anyway, let's just stick back with what I'm doing and let's see what I can figure out. Another thing I want to quickly mention is with my beats, normally I try to static gain structure everything whilst I'm making the beat. Not too much so where I'm in complete control of the whole mix, but I like to at least adjust everything inside of the DA, no, not the DAW, the actual plugin. So say the volume, I always grab the volume fader inside the plugin before I go for these faders down the bottom. Because, later on you want to be able to control your mix with these faders, and that's the different kind of control that you're having there. So say for example you set automation, and let me just get an automation window open here. Turn it on, man. Oh wait, there we go. So if I added an automation, say I added a bypass into my automation lane here, and I set a bypass, you can set the automation in there without adjusting the faders, and later on you can adjust the faders if you wanted to. But anyway, I'll just get out of that, turn that off. There we go. Cool. So anyway, this is just a quick, I guess, tutorial on beat making and how I start a beat out and the kind of things that I do. So obviously you guys can do more yourselves when you start to work on your own stuff. But anyway, so I might finish this tutorial up, or not a tutorial, but I guess a beat making thing. Might just finish it up in a second because it's getting on a bit in time. I'll come back to you when this beat's made fully, and you guys can have a listen to it and see what you think about it. But yeah, I just wanted to take you along short trip on this one and give you behind the scenes of kind of what I do to make my beats. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, remember to like that video and hit a subscribe on that, and as well hit me up on the channel if you want any tutorials on this, so I can do those in the future. So anyway, peace. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Later on.